Hey everybody, Kim here with Little Biz Resources, and today let's take a look at 3 business tips from an attorney, and 2 of these are critical. Okay, so first of all, attorneys are also known as lawyers, and they can help. Business attorneys provide business legal advice. And to be honest, I wasn't really sure that a lawyer would be very helpful. And the problem is that when you start getting into business, look, I have a PhD in business. My sister has a PhD. She has an MBA as well. Her undergraduate's related to business. And there are things that you just don't know, right? They're just things that they don't teach you in school. It comes up, outside of it, whatever. And legally, if you do something wrong, you're still responsible for it. So we're part of a prepaid legal services program that offers legal services for personal, and then they have a business one as well. Now, if you have a business, you probably need legal guidance at some point. So check the link for how you can get more info on the prepaid services. And in the meantime, let's talk about our 3 tips that we learned that I thought were rather interesting. Tip number 1, our attorney recommended we set up a war chest. Now, a war chest is just a nice terminology for this. It's an emergency fund or something, but you take a percentage of your sales and you set them aside. This war chest fund is to protect your business and or fight back as needed, right? This is not a savings account to dip into. You don't go, okay, I want to set some savings account in case something happens. Some people say that, but then they go and they get into the savings account when their sales are low or whatever. Your savings account for that should be separate, right? You should be taking a percentage of your sales and setting them aside in case something happens, in case somebody sends you a letter that's a cease and desist and you want to fight it, in case somebody goes after, uses your business name or something, right? There's a lot of different variables out there, a lot of different what if scenarios, and I'm sure you guys can come up with plenty of them, but this is your war fund, right? So it's not a savings account to dip into, it's your war fund. And I thought about that and I was like, you know what? We definitely need to have that. So that's something my sister and I are setting up as we go, and something that we recommend you do as well. Tip number 2. The Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. Now, this was sort of specific guidance to us as a marketplace facilitator, but it's still something to know. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. I'm not an attorney, so I can't exactly tell you what this means. But basically, you can't bribe government officials, right? And so what they told us to do is make sure that we included this in our terms of service, saying that people used our site. They were not going to participate in any type of whatever falls under the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. Now, of course, it's when you're bribing government officials and typically foreign government officials. So again, how that works, most of the people that follow us don't plan on bribing government officials at any level. But because if you're in e-commerce, I should say, and because of that, because of the whole e-commerce and internet element, there's some wording in there that makes it so you have to be kind of careful on what you do. And of course, if you're bribing people, you're pretty much breaking the law anyway. But e-commerce provides unique funding opportunities. So as someone who sells in e-commerce, or if you're doing any type of business trade online through email, anything, you should probably know about this act, and you can just Google it or talk to an attorney. So I thought that was something interesting that I thought I'd share. And tip number 3, trade name registrations at the state level. Anyone can steal your business name if you do not register your name. Now, before you go away and say, I know what you're talking about, you probably don't, because this is the first time I've heard of this. And again, being in business, I always thought that and I'll talk about this in third point, if you did a DBA, that was the same thing. It's not. So you can register your business name as a trade name at the state level and or federal level. And it costs less at the state level typically and a lot more at the federal level. So it's like a trademark, but it's a trade name. And this is different than registering the DBA or the doing business as. Okay, and you need to understand that this is different. So just because you filed your papers and said, oh, hey, I'm going to be running my business as this name, it doesn't mean anything, right? Somebody can steal that from you. And I did not realize this. And I was like, ooh, I need to, register some names then. And some of my names are registered at different levels for different things. And I just paid somebody to do that before. I didn't know they did this. Right. So when I was going, hey, what do we need to do? He's like, this is what you need to do. And I was like, that's probably something important. So if you're serious about your business, you like your business name, you don't want to have to change it later, then you need to make sure you do a trade name registration at least at the state level so nobody else in the state can take it. Now, consult an attorney, right? So heading into 2022, all business is much more competitive. It's a lot easier to protect yourself, and it's a lot easier to get ripped off. So besides the basic legal tips I talked about today, I mean, these are real simple, 3 simple ones to kind of get you thinking about stuff. And you probably have lots of questions, right? And we're, of course, not attorneys. We can give you general guidance on things and point you in direction for stuff. But your specific business or situation needs specific advices. Why do I keep putting advices? Anyway, advice. I don't know why I put an S on that. Now, depending on where you're at in your business, you may need more protections. And we're going to talk more about those another time. To give you a quick story, I once worked with a guy who was doing the prepaid legal services. And the reason why he got involved was because he had his entire physical business stolen. I think I've talked about this in the past before. And it was basically his identity was stolen along with his business. And so there's a lot of things that as a business owner, you have to think about that you don't normally think about as an employee, right? You don't have to worry about protecting the name. You don't have to worry about, bribing officials with the money coming through e-commerce methods or anything, because you're not at that level. When you own your own business, you have to consider different elements. And depending on the state you're in, I know a lot of people in California, they always have questions. If you're in California, you probably need to talk to an attorney when you're getting started with a business. It's not very expensive. You can click the link in the description and we can, send you to a page that'll give you more information. So again, depending on where you're at in your business, you may need more protections and you may need to talk to somebody about what is in your best interest. And you can, of course, check out that page for more information. All right, so if you're ready to talk to an attorney, click the link in the description. And if you're in e-commerce, sign up to our marketplace. It's, depending on when you're watching this, I'm actually recording this 2 or 3 days before we're launching. So it'll post, I don't know, about an hour from now. And yeah, you might be able to get into the marketplace this week, but depending on when it is, you can just click that link and you'll find out if we're live or not. That'll be in the description. If you're interested and you want to join a group with other like-minded individuals, you can join our Facebook group, and then you can come live each week and ask questions. Just check the channel banner for the date and time. And I thank you for watching.